Hello everyone, glad to be back. Today is 2nd of February, now it's 3 o'clock, middle of the day by Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is my channel in which I share latest updates on the news that are making headlines in Russian media outlets and Russian language pages on different internet platforms. We do have quite interesting news for this moment that I like to share with you, but before I start, let me say thank you to all of you for support and attention that you are giving me and my channel. And I do have a very good reason to be thankful because my channel did reach 3,000 subscribers yesterday, which is a great deal for me. So thank you again. And on my part, I will say that as long as I'm keeping this channel active and making updates, I will definitely try to improve my English, first of all, to improve my to improve myself as a presenter, and to make more interesting content in general. So that's been said. Let's talk about news now. Let's talk about news now, and of course, I'm gonna start with Ukraine and special military operation. And we have news here. Oh yes, one more thing. I will definitely try to make this video as short as possible because yesterday's video were too long. So yes, we have RIA Novosti here, which is reporting based on head of Kherson region that Russian side did repeal all attempts from Ukrainian armed forces to to cross the Dnieper River. Let me show you this area. To cross the Dnieper River and establish any bridgehead along the river. And as you can see, this is a pro-Ukrainian map. And if there was any bridgeheads from Ukrainian armed forces, this map will definitely show it. And recently, even though recently Ukrainian side did make many attempts to cross the Dnieper and take control over some territories. For now, at least, we can say that those attempts were unsuccessful, so that there is no reason to don't believe statements from head of Kherson region. But anyway, as I said in my previous videos, this Ukrainian activity here we can count as a preparation for expected counteroffensive, about which even Biden did talk a few days ago, and not just him. But in my understanding, I did say this many times. Ukrainians said just did not have capable enough forces to defeat Russian forces in this region, or in any other region for that matter. So that only way for Zelensky's Nazi regime to take control over the, let's say, any part of this land bridge from Crimea to mainland Russia is the only chance they have is if Moscow, for some strange reasons, maybe for because of Western influence, for example, this is just my guess, but only chance Zelensky's regime will have if Moscow, for some reason, will order Russian forces to withdraw from this territory. Only then uh, Zelensky and Ukrainian armed forces will be able to establish control over the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, which is here, city of Energodar, Melitopol, or Berdyansk. And other way, if they didn't establish control over this area, they just have no chance to do any offensive in direction of Crimea Peninsula because they have no fleet. So from sea, they can't do it. So they need this land mass here to conduct any offensive, and they just unable to defeat Russian side. They just don't have enough capabilities for that. And no matter how many weapons Western states will send to Zelensky's regime, Ukrainian side will still be unable to defeat Russian side. So that's my take on it. Let's say some other news. Here we have this is TASS news agency, which is reporting based on head of, or not head, but one of officials of LPR, Lugansk People's Republic, that Russian armed forces did start some offensive operations in LPR, and even though there is no details about offensive, probably we can say that in the next few weeks, Russian side will probably take control over the all settlements that Zelensky's regime has control over for this time in Lugansk People's Republic. And there is only few settlements, so it's not gonna be too big of a deal for Russian side, as I understand. So let's carry on, and here we have this is a Kommersant newspaper, and we have information which is based on an article of Politico, which said that Pentagon high-ranking officials did brief U.S. congressmen, and briefing was secret, but Politico somehow did learn what they were talking about then. So, high-ranking Pentagon officials did brief U.S. congressmen that Zelensky's regime has no chance to establish control over the Crimea in the near future. I will say that Zelensky's regime will never have a chance to achieve control over the Crimea. But we can see that if Politico's information is correct, even high-ranking U.S. Pentagon officials are recognizing that no matter how many weapons they will send to Zelensky's Nazi regime, it will change basically nothing. And Zelensky's regime will have no chance to defeat Russian side. In this case, they were talking about Crimea, but as I said, the Ukrainian side have no chance to defeat Russian forces in anywhere. So let's continue. And this is quite interesting too. We have few informations that are correlating with each other. Here we have statement from Josep Borrell, EU official, who is saying that EU is not discussing about sending military jets to Ukraine. So this topic is off the table for EU. But then we have information, and this is TASS is reporting, TASS news agency, that Euro Parliament is asking, or I should say demanding from EU leaders to make up their minds and make decision about sending jet fighters and missiles to Ukraine. And then, so these guys, man, just contradicting each other, isn't it? Borrell is saying that there is no discussion, and Euro Parliament, which is a part of EU, for God's sake, there we see not just discussion but demand almost from leadership of EU to make decision about sending jets and missiles to Zelensky's Nazi regime. And we have continuation here of this topic. This is RBK news agency, and we see that according to New York Times, even though Joe Biden, president of USA, did openly said that US will don't send F-16 jet fighters to Ukraine, according to New York Times, some high-ranking officials in administration of Biden pushing decision for jet fighters to be sent to Ukraine anyway. They come up with the idea to, for beginning, ask European states to send their jet fighters to Ukraine. And then US will follow suit. And in this case, US officials are talking about mainly about Holland or Netherlands and Denmark, because they do have operate F-16s. They have some stock of these fighter jets, and in theory, they can provide Ukraine with those planes. So as you can see, um, we are seeing situation which like it was with Leopard 2 tanks. You know, when European states were waiting for Germany's permission to re-export Leopard 2s to Ukraine, and now we are seeing situation when European states will start waiting or ask officially Washington for permission to send the F-16s, and they will receive this permission because, as you see, officials in Biden administration are pushing this idea. So they will definitely receive from USA permission to re-export F-16s. So, it is what it is. Here we have a statement from head of Russian foreign ministry, Sergei Lavrov, who is saying that all these talks about when Western elites are talking about sending these modern weapons to Ukraine, everyone should understand, and Russian side does understand, that all those tanks or jets or whatever it is will be operated by Western militaries. But for plausible deniability, what Westerners will do, Western elites will do, is they will dismiss those officers and soldiers from military, and they will put them on a payroll in some private military company. That's how they will play out this story. And then, if those soldiers or officers are killed or captured, they can say that, you know what, we have no business here in this matter, because they were private contractors. So that's plausible deniability. Even though everyone will knew that these guys were part of Western armed forces, officially they will be dismissed. I don't know who will sign up for this, but they will find some. They will find some. Let's continue. Let's continue. This video should be short, so let's talk about this news, man. Recently, one of the subscribers did ask me to time to time make updates about Georgia too, and we have informations here that Zelensky and the foreign minister of Ukraine did made very harsh statements towards Georgian government, because and Zelensky himself, he was just directly asking, are you on Russian side, or you are neutral? So Zelensky was blaming Georgia, basically, accusing that Georgia is on Russian side. And as you know, Western, particularly U.S. officials did try many times to somehow provoke Georgia to, to act aggressively towards Russia. It did not work, but as you see, they are not stopping, man, and they're using any opportunity they have to somehow open second front, and provoke some kind of conflict between Georgia and Russia. And this time, they are using Zelensky himself, this clown, and they are using foreign ministry of Ukraine. And in this case, both foreign minister and ministry and Zelensky are talking about Saakashvili. As you know, Mikhail Saakashvili was president of Georgia uh, for two terms from 2004 to 2012, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, and he is now in prison, rightfully so. And Zelensky and the Ukrainian foreign ministry is demanding that Saakashvili will be released and sent to Ukraine because he has Ukrainian citizenship. When he took Ukrainian citizenship, he lost Georgian one automatically. But same time, even though he was then become a governor of Odessa region and he was quite active in Ukrainian politics, same time, he was trying to keep some positions in Georgia too. And he did return into Georgia. Probably he was thinking that people will take him with open hands. But that did not happen because he is a criminal, war criminal, and he should be in jail before end of his life. And he is in prison now. And as you see, USA now using this clown Zelensky, and they are using Ukraine to provoke some internal turmoil in Georgia around this war criminal that Saakashvili is. So that what they want, probably what Western elites want. In this case, I'm talking about US mainly, because Saakashvili and his henchmen, they all are US assets and always were. So what they want is to take down current Georgian government, which is acting basically adequately and trying to distance themselves from this conflict between Russia and Ukraine. And what USA wants is to take down this current government and put in power Saakashvili or someone like him, and then open second front with Russia, at least try. That's what they want. And they are using those animals that are running Ukraine. Zelensky, foreign minister of Ukraine, and the rest of them. Those Nazi animals, man. But I should say, current Georgian government is, for my surprise, I'm quite surprised, to be honest. But current Georgian government is acting very carefully, very adequately, and I'm glad that that's the case, because many of you may don't know my story, but I was born in Georgia and raised in Georgia, and I was, citizen of Georgia until 2009, when Saakashvili, who was president at the time, unlawfully took my citizenship because him and his henchmen did not like what my news agency was writing before the 2008 war conflict and after. And that's why I was forced to, because of this conflict with Saakashvili's regime, I was forced to uh, evacuate my family from Georgia and evacuate myself, and that's why we left Georgia and then we end up in Russia. And I was stateless person for more than 10 years. I received Russian citizenship in 2021. So from 2009 to 2021, I was stateless because Saakashvili himself, with his order, unlawfully took my citizenship. So, it is what it is. It is what it is, man. This is it for now. This is it for now. I hope you find this video interesting, and if so, please hit that like button, leave some commentary about any topic you like, and share links to my videos or my channel with your friends on internet platforms that you are active on. That will greatly increase my chances to reach wide audience, and I'd be grateful, of course, for that help. This is it for now. Have a nice day and take care. See you soon.